YOLO amazing people of YouTube. So I want to talk to you guys about reparations in terms of American black slavery, right? I was having this entire conversation. I was the only white dude amongst dozens of black people, and I was having this discussion. I laid out, like, someone said something, and I laid out the dilemma with reparations. And the dilemma I presented was, okay, not that I'm for or against. I'll tell you towards the end if I'm for it or against it. But what I laid out was this. So if reparations need to be paid, right? It's very difficult for our generation, 2023, for people to put into context what the suffering was like of people over 150 years ago, right? And some people pointed out that, you know what, slavery kept persisting and this, even though it was legally outlawed. And yeah, absolutely. When I was living in Hollywood, above me was this young Russian dude and 5 young Russian girls. Gorgeous, man, just beautiful. They were indentured servants, man. So slavery still takes place, right? But the dilemma I raised was, so if you're looking at people suffering, and based on that suffering, some type of reparations needs to be paid. What about for the individual that was considered a stud, and his job was just to impregnate other slaves? On the other hand, you had like a milkmaiden, right? Someone that would take care of babies. That was their role. And then you had someone indoors that their job was food. And then you have this big population of people outside in horrific conditions. But overseeing them was another black dude, like a manager, managing those slaves so that they were doing their job. By no means am I downplaying the horrific nature and all the crazy shit that takes place when people do shitty things, right? But I said it's pretty hard to quantify in today's terms what type of reparations need to be paid and to who exactly it needs to be paid. Is it different state to state? Is it different for people, for example, in their lineage, if they have, let's say, they have a slave ancestor and a slave owner ancestor, right? What about people that have multiple generations of slavery, right? Like, it's a very complex topic. And my question that no one was able to answer, not that they weren't able to, people refused to answer it. And it seemed to me like people were afraid to give their opinion on, because my question was simple. If I'm a genie, right? And I can just wave a wand or whatever, and you can make certain changes as a black person in terms of reparations, what would they be? Like, what would you do? What change would you make? What law would you implement? What finances or whatever, right? Like, just what would you give to who and how would you do it? Like, what would be kickstart this, right? If you really feel people need reparations and this, like, and you can wave a wand, what would that be? I was genuinely, and I still am genuinely curious to know how the black Americans today, how they feel and how they think in terms of what reparations should actually look like or be like, right? Now, someone asked me, what would I do? Like, they said, what the hell are you gonna do? Is the exact words they used. And I said, I'm not going to do a damn thing. And the reason why I'm not going to do a damn thing, because the creed of white man I am was in the middle of genocide during that time. We were facing genocide all the way until the 20s. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm on the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? None of my people enslaved nobody. You know what I'm saying? On the contrary, we were victims to another horrendous act. And something I kind of threw out there is, I was like, I'm not hearing a single person say that right now in 2023 there is genocide and slavery going on in over a dozen countries. You take Somalia, Yemen, Congo, and these are countries predominantly with black people in it. Not to mention you have Afghanistan, you have a certain part of China, you have, like, there's over a dozen countries where slavery and actual genocide is occurring right now. And I said not a single person has ever made a tweet about it, has ever made an Instagram post about it. So if you're really offended in terms of this American history, which was also a worldwide history, right? I said, if you're really truly offended and you feel the pain and you carry this pain with you, I'm surprised that not a single individual has made one tweet in their life in regards to actual genocide and slavery happening today. Not because you can do something about it, but one thing you can do is you can spread the word of such horrific things happening today, like how I'm mentioning it, so that if the word gets out, something can eventually be done, right? And I said, if nobody's really done that, not even a fucking tweet, and you'll tweet on the toilet about the stupidest thing on earth, but you won't make a tweet about that to help innocent people, innocent children, innocent old folks, innocent whoever, right? Therefore, I don't think you deserve shit, honestly. And the reason why I honestly think, because someone else eventually asked me, like, are you for reparations or are you not? And even though it was hours long conversation, that entire time I didn't really think about if I was for reparations or against reparations until one person asked me. They're like, we've had this entire discussion and we're like, I'm curious to know, are you with reparations or are you against it? And I had to pause because I never really considered it. And when I paused, I really thought about it, and I finally gave an answer after thinking about it for a minute. I said, look, man, I grew up in the trenches, right? I grew up in the best LA ghettos has to offer. But, like, I have a sibling, okay? My sibling graduated high school, 4.3 GPA, went to UCLA, graduated, became a defense attorney, okay? Me, on the other hand, from the same exact family, just 2 years apart, I dropped out of high school. I was ditching, I wasn't doing shit. I dropped out, I bought my diploma. I ended up actually signing up to LACC and then to LAVC, of which I dropped out of LACC and I dropped out of LAVC, which I'm at right now. And then I went to jail and I did this and this, whoop-de-whoop, right? Like, and I was like, look, I can make 1,000,001 excuses of why my life was shitty, but I'm not gonna do that. I take full responsibility for everything in my life, even the things that were out of my control. Me as a man, I have to shoulder burden. This is my belief. This is my personal belief. Me as a man, I have to take responsibility, so therefore I can make certain changes. And because I take full responsibility, including for the things that were mostly out of my control. And if I could go back in time, I would honestly just join the army, or I would join the Air Force, and I would go career. You know what I'm saying? So I'd either want to go to the army and do combat, like straight out of like 18 years old, army combat, or Air Force. Both of them career. That's what I would do looking back in my life. I said, now, because of the life I led, I can't say that, you know what, man, this country is not doing shit for nobody, okay? On the contrary, this country, I feel like it's giving reparations in different ways. It's giving people reparations in terms of giving you opportunity to make something of yourself, right? Not in terms of ancestry, just you as an individual. And if you haven't taken those opportunities to better your life, because I didn't take those opportunities, it was there. I could have done good in school. All I had to do was show up, do my homework, get a decent fucking grade, graduate, go to college, show up, do my work, and then fucking I'd be set, right? But I didn't even take those opportunities just to better my life. So I'm not gonna pretend those opportunities aren't there, especially in terms of working, right? Like, you can get a job almost fucking anywhere, dude. Like, if you really want a job, you can get a job, man. And this country, man, you have to go to school. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn to read and write and count and all this shit. And we have amazing schools over here. At the same time, we have horrific schools. We have schools for the kids, of which, fuck, almost all my friends were one of them, like, just getting kicked out from one school to another, because they couldn't behave themselves. And they ended up going to the last fucking school LAUSD has to offer, and it just the shittiest school of all. And it's pretty much just for government to say, you know what, we taught this person to at least read English and at least be able to add, subtract, multiply. We at least did our part there. That's like, it was an excuse of a school. So a lot of people didn't agree with me on that, right? Like, and I fully understand why they didn't. But I said, look, man, growing up in LA, like, it's a multicultural environment over here. I went to school with every creed of person, right? Like, I went to school with Hispanics, Asians, blacks, everything and anything. You know what I'm saying? From whatever your spectrum of people, like, from one end to the other, we had everything, right? Every type of person. And every type of person was going through the same fucking shit. But at the same time, half of my teachers were black. Half of my counselors were black. All of the principals in all the schools I went to in LAUSD were black. When I go to DMV, half the DMV is black. When I drive to LAX, half of the people at LAX is black. All right? I've been in front of black judges. I've had black lawyers, right? We've had a black president. We've had black people go to space. So I'm not buying this thing of, like, you know, America hasn't done jack shit for anybody. I feel like they gave reparations out in terms of opportunity, and they can't force anybody to take those opportunities. It's on the individual to take them. People like my sibling, they took the opportunities and made something productive of their life. But me personally, I didn't take those opportunities. And whatever my excuses were or are, they are excuses. And that's kind of how I feel about it. So at the end, I told him, no, I'm not for reparations for that reason. You know, it's too many generations back. And someone asked me, okay, so your people had genocide all the way until the 20s. What about reparations for you guys? I said, no, I don't think we should get reparations either. You know what I'm saying? Like, this didn't happen to my parents. It didn't even happen to my grandparents. It happened to my great-great-grandparents. You get what I'm saying? And horrific genocide. Like, the majority of my people got wiped out. From fucking babies to the old folks. You know what I'm saying? And no, we don't, like, life goes on, man. You know, in this game of life, no one owes you shit. And in this game of life, no one's gonna come out a winner at the end of it. We're all gonna go out in a box. There is no winning this game of life. But what there is trying to better your position today, you know? As a man or as a woman, to go out and make something of yourself. And kids and old folks get passes in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Kids and old folks get passes in a lot of different things. And me personally, I respect men and women. But everything else, I really like everything in between that, I don't have respect for. It's just weird, you know? Like, I see everyone else as, like, if you're some fucking bitch, you know what I'm saying? Or if you're some, as a dude or as a girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna show you the same type of respect I would show a man or a woman. You know what I'm saying? And everyone knows what I mean by a man or a woman. Because you can choose, as a guy, you could choose not to be a man, most definitely. You can choose to be a million other things but a man. And as a woman, you can choose to be a million things but a woman. So, I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts on it. And I would love to hear your opinions on this, you know? Because at the end of the day, as I started off this video, I said, I'm on the sidelines, dude. This isn't, I don't have a dog in this. This was just, I had this entire conversation because I wanted to learn. I wanted to understand what, how black people are thinking in terms of this situation. So if you want to comment down below, I'd love to hear your thoughts in terms of how reparations should be handled, or if they should be handled at all. I'm genuinely curious. So you guys have a nice day. Solo Yolo Bolo. Peace.